Now Smith has it. DeMoss, the steal for three. Buried! Joey DeMoss. The far side. Timmons blocked again. Daly, top of the key, spinning. Daly up and one. What a play. Position Epps to Valentine. Yes, sir. Mackay with another. Corrado left, block up, and one. The Graphics up by one, now down by two. It's Davis again. Zion again. He cannot miss. Now it's Terza for the lead. Got it. Picked off. That's RJ Sledge. Sledge pulls up. Sledge and one. RJ Sledge, incredible. It's year number 4, and it's the MVISBL Boys Draft here on MVI Live. Alex Lyons, Jose Negron alongside me. MVISBL Draft powered by Planet Roof here this evening from Cedarbrook Golf Courses. We'll send it over to Naz Victoria for some opening thoughts as we get set to get underway to welcome a new crop of players into the family of the MVISBL.
Welcome, gentlemen, to the 4th MVISBL Draft. I got a couple things I want to go over with you guys before we get started here. One thing is that you'll see some forms in front of you. You have sheets that are going to describe players by their school, by their height, alphabetical order, returning players, and etc. Just check out those sheets. You have a lot of different ways of looking at these players. Remember, you can only select 2 players from any one high school. That has been in effect since the beginning. I believe you have one player at the beginning of the school sheet that says other, Noah Sears. I believe he's going to Seton LaSalle High School. So you can mark down Seton LaSalle for that player in particular. You have one sheet there that has highlights on it. That sheet is showing you who showed up for tryouts. The gentleman in white did not show up for tryouts. So let's get the 2023 draft underway, and the first pick is going to RTI and Dana Zajac.
As we get set to welcome Dana Zajac up here, MVISBL Draft 2023 reigning champs of course, Elite Physical Therapy, taking it last season. They'll have a lot of pieces to replace starting here tonight, but RTI, who finished at the bottom, will get first overall pick. And Dana, floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much, Alex. And welcome, everybody. Excited for a new year. We'll start the year with the first pick this year. We're going to go with Lamont Perkins Jr., Woodland Hills / McKeesport. We're not sure.
So Lamont Perkins, of course, last year did play at McKeesport.
Yes.
A senior heavy team, was the first man off the bench. Very athletic. We didn't get to see him at the draft. But, Dana, what do you think he's going to be able to bring to your RTI team, especially when you're returning the likes of a Cadrian McLeod, already a big body underneath, and, of course, Calvin Winfrey III on the outside?
Well, I like the mix that Lamont's going to give us. Was able to see him play a couple times last fall and winter. Very excited about his talent, his athleticism, and what he can bring to the team. I think it was a little bit of the missing piece. We needed that /forward/guard type athlete to go with Calvin and Cadrian and Noah Prosser.
Maybe a couple pieces away. We'll see if Lamont Perkins is the right spark to get RTI Insurance moving in the right direction. RTI bringing back Aiden Angadi along with Ian March, Cadrian McLeod, Noah Prosser, a sharpshooter from the outside from TJ Jose. We're very familiar with Noah. And, of course, Calvin Winfrey III, who we're familiar with as well. All those Uniontown kids we've become very accustomed to. But next on the clock, that's going to be the newly named Trailside, that former Howard Hanna squad. They're returning Andrew Rowland, Jackson Karanko, Justin Flournoy, Mike Sapos, and they now have Jude Manitti, part of a package deal that will give Coach Hatton 2 picks here in the first round. Zion Moore being shipped off to B Graphics for a first-rounder, and Jude Minetti. This is the trail side pick from last year. They'll also pick 4th, which would be the B Graphics pick, as Coach Hatton will take his first of 2 first-round picks here, and Coach Hatton barely fitting inside our podium screen. But, hey, that's what happens when you get the new 6'7" head coach of trail side.
All right. With the number 2 pick, we'll take Brady O'Rourke from Greensburg Central.
Brady O'Rourke, a big body guy. We saw him last night at tryouts as O'Rourke second off the board, and Coach Hatton, kind of a good mix of size and shooting ability. And what do you think the intangibles, led you to taking O'Rourke here?
Yeah, man, he plays with a real high basketball IQ. I actually coached against him this past season, so got to see him twice because they're in our conference. But, yeah, I mean, he dominated JV last year. I was surprised he didn't play more for varsity, to be honest. But can put the ball on the floor, can shoot it from the outside as well. At that size, that's a good, bonus to have there.
Pick 1 for Coach Rashad Hatton goes of Brady O'Rourke of Greensburg Central Catholic. A lot of familiarity there, as he said, Jose, as Clairton was in that same section. Clairton, of course, they had a huge turnaround last year, and 7 Bears in this draft this year. And you got to, commend all the Clairton players coming up. As on the clock is Union Cleaners, who lost in the first round as a 2 seed last year. But, it's a proof these kids want to get better under what will be their 3rd-year head coach, Rashad Hatton, coming into this basketball season.
Yeah, it's nice to see that, them coming out for the league. We've seen a couple of Clairton kids in the last couple years, and really just a lot of different schools represented here in the MVISBL boys division. Nice to see some new ones on the list as well.
This is a team, a lot of talent coming back. They lost in what they were hoping was going to be a championship season last year. Alonzo Wade of Bell Vernon, Dame Givner of Amani Christian, Isaiah Petty, we know how good he was at Sarah Catholic, Justin Beatty at SA. 4 really talented players, 3 dominated guards. They don't get Luke Scarf back, but Coach Kovac definitely could use some size to go along with that talented group, and we'll see what Coach Kovac decides to do here for Union Cleaners in round 1.
Here again, everybody, great coaches. Naz runs a great league. This is like special to these kids. You guys cover this like it's the MLB writers in the 1980s, which is awesome. And Alex, I don't know if you have a microphone at my table or not, but me and Coach Crum were saying there's a lot of really talented guards, but we need size. So we're going to go with Dawn Mosley, the freshman from Woodland Hills. In tryouts yesterday, I saw him doing what a lot of kids don't understand, and he attacked the weak side. And it looks to me like Coach Jared's going to have a nice time with him at Woodland Hills, because this kid's probably going to be an 8 to 10 rebound a game individual. And we're very excited to have him and help him with our size. And best of luck to Luke in football. But, the beat goes on. So we're going to roll with Dawn Mosley.
And, I feel like with you, Coach, Don Shea, a very similar pick to your first-round pick last year, a young kid who is still growing into his frame and is going to be a huge part, not just this season, but for years to come. And it seems like, again, as you said, Woodland Hills, they're going to be on a tear with some of these young players. I
agree, and that's one of the things we looked at being young. Brady O'Rourke was the pick that was made before us, so that made the decision easy for us. But we're very excited to have him, and like you said, he's going to be a big force in this league and a big force in the Whitfill for years to come.
Don Shea Mosley, a great piece added to the already talented group of Dame Givner, Isaiah Petty, Justin Beatty, and Alonzo Wade. B Graphics, they will not pick. They made the big splash. They originally were in this 4 spot, getting Zion Moore, who was one of the top scorers in the league last year. Of course, Jose, a lot of talent out of this league last year due to graduation. Makai Valentine, Division I offers out of Steel Valley. Bryce Epps, who's going to La Roche. Shanier Pinckney Jr., Chaz Cobbs Jr., Bakari Wallace, Joey DeMoss. I mean, the list goes on, and a lot of talent lost. And, we didn't mention any of the losses for B Graphics of Savion Stroud, Shea Champagne, Charlie Melab not coming back. I mean, he has a ton of football offers. You can't be too surprised there, getting offers from Air Force and schools like that caliber. So, not necessarily surprising to see him not coming back, but it opens the floor, and I think it looks like it's going to be a very guard-centric returning league this year, besides really 2 teams, and you look at that at Dax Thomas State Farm between Berger, Mahalski, Wade, and Gardner. And then on EPT, you have Austin Matthews coming back as well.
Yeah, and you see within these first 3 picks, a lot of size there with Perkins at 6'3", O'Rourke at 6'4", and then Mosley, a freshman at 6'1", like you said, growing into his frame, and a lot of really talented kids that we've seen, through our coverage with the Mon Valley Independent. I mean, you look at a guy like Tommy Davis from Bell Vernon, who's on this list, a kid who made a pretty significant impact last year for Joe Salvino. I know he was at tryouts yesterday, and we got to see him a little bit. So a lot of guys that we're familiar with, a lot of guys too that are new to us. So should be interesting to see how the rest of this draft shapes out.
A couple of those guys that I kind of want to focus on. We talked about new players. One, Tyler Basic. He's going to be a freshman at Elizabeth Forward. He was very impressive in the 2 days of tryouts. Good handles, very good shooter from the outside. Of course, you also have Anthony Price, another rising freshman at Woodland Hills, very talented young man. Mike Ruffin, a rising sophomore at Clareton. We got to see him a lot last year, big part of that turnaround for the Clareton Bears. And then some other pieces, we look at maybe a Troy Anderson and a Tim Kershaw, who actually played in the league last year to fill in a little bit. And, Kershaw played more games than some of the kids we had. And, I think maybe that's a good pick for someone down the line. But we'll see what Coach Hatton decides to do with pick number 2. This is the one he acquired for Zion Moore in the offseason.
Okay. With the number 4 pick in the first round, I'll be taking one of my guys, Sir Anthony Blair, 6'1", senior this year for me at Clareton.
And we got to see a lot of electric play out of Sir Anthony the last 2 days of tryouts. We were talking at the tryouts, Coach, and, he said he's kind of just starting to really put it together. And obviously, Sir Anthony has all the athletic intangibles. And how much of being able to help develop him even more goes into taking this pick? Because I know every coach was ecstatic about the way he could jump out of a gym.
Yeah, for sure. He was one of those late bloomers coming into last season. He played a lot of JV early in the season, and then he started to get more varsity minutes as the game started to slow down for him a bit. But he's a walking pogo stick, man. Like, he gets off the ground really quick, and he's very explosive. And he's just starting to learn, the game's slowing down, like I said, starting to learn the intangibles, and it's really helping him a lot.
So Sir Anthony Blair will be taking his talents to Trailside for his high school head coach, Rashad Hatton, possibly one of 2 Clareton Bears going to Coach Hatton in this draft. Wouldn't be surprised to see 2 of the 7 Bears available go to Trailside in this year's draft. And again, Jose, that was an incredible turnaround for the Bears from 1 win to, I don't have it off the top of my head, but it was, playoffs, made the state playoffs. Incredible. They beat Sarah Catholic in that play-in game, and then Sarah went on their run, of course, in the playoffs. But incredible intangibles in that team. When you lose a good leader in Devin Dean, who's also leaving what is now that Trailside team. But, you get 2 big pieces here with Brady O'Rourke, and Sir Anthony Blair was probably one of the most athletic kids, if not the most athletic kid we saw at tryouts.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to the Clareton coaching staff and what they did. Rashad Hatton, our coach of the year this year, for the job that him and his staff was able to do. And the kids that play for this Trailside team are going to benefit from the coaches they're going to get to learn from this summer, and that's the big part of this. It's all about getting better and being better than you were at the beginning of the summer when you get to your high school team during the winter season. So, you want to win. Obviously, that's a huge thing. But, you also want to get better and learn from the coaches that are guiding you throughout the summer.
Yeah, Rashad Hatton, of course, going into what would be his 3rd year at Clareton, former district champion with the Clareton Bears, went on to play at Cal U, now taking over a position here in the MVISBL as Naz Victoria and Dax Thomas State Farm is now up to make their first pick of the evening. And, of course, we talked about it. This is a pretty forward-heavy squad. Let's see if Coach Naz Victoria decides to add a guard to the fold here this evening.
I am not adding a guard.
I think I know who you're going then.
With our first pick in the 2023 draft, State Farm selects Tommy Davis, Bell Vernon Area High School.
And as I know, you are a big fan of Tommy Davis. Every broadcast we did with Bell Vernon this year, you loved what you saw out of Tommy. And he's a kid that got better from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, and at tryouts looked even better than we've seen him.
Tommy Davis has a huge upside. As long as he keeps working hard, I think by the end of Summer League, he's going to be dominating inside, and he's only going into his junior year, so he has another year to work out. I think he's going to fit in with our team great. We have some really good returning players, and I think this is going to round out our starting 5.
Gives you kind of the ability to let Evan, Lorenzo, Michael play more of that hybrid role. You get your true big. Again, you know what they say, you can't teach 6'4".
That's right. You can't teach size.
So Tommy Davis adding to an already impressive group of forwards with Dax Thomas, State Farm here in the first round, as the Bell Vernon Bigs saw a lot of minutes in the postseason, and kind of overtook Braden Locks at times. And you go back to the LH game as Veda Epps on the clock, the defending champs. But, Jose, if Tommy Davis doesn't allow the Laurel Highlands games, it could be a completely different story. Talking about Bell Vernon beating LH in the playoffs this past year, that's how impactful he became down the stretch.
Right, and you mentioned, his role kind of became more significant as the season went on, and we got to see him early in the year when Bell Vernon's football guys were still in the state playoffs on their road to the state championship, and we got to see him early in the year, and he really kind of blossomed as the year went on, and we got to see what he was fully capable of. So a nice pick there for to add another forward to the mix. Like you said, having guys like Evan Berger, Mike Mahalski, who really took a huge step at South Allegheny this past season, Curdy Wade and Lorenzo Gardner. Nice fifth starter there for Dax Thomas State Farm.
Yeah, of course, Dax Thomas trying to replace one of the most electric personalities, not in the league, but in the entire WPL, and Dunny Rose. Scoop Smith also not come back to an injury. Now it's the defending champs, EPT, perfect 12-0 last year, led by Vade Epps. He's losing his one son in Bryce, losing Makai Valentine. Cam comes back. Tori Grooms is back. Drew Cook's back. Austin Matthews back, and now another new EPT player about to join the fold.
First pick for elite physical therapy in the first round. We choose Nathan Brazil, rising senior out of Monte Christian. 6 foot, 150 pounds.
So Nathan Brazil off the board, and that's someone we didn't get to see over the last 2 days. Coach, what drew you to take Nate here in the first round?
Our high school team, we played against them in the summertime. He kind of impressed me, how he got up and down the court, how he defended, very communicates on defense a lot. Good teammate, very positive. If he accepts constructive criticism from his coach, he didn't put his head down, he didn't pout, didn't roll his eyes. Just little things that you like to see as a coach when you trying to coach a player up.
And Amani, that was a star-studded team. You got to be able to share the ball. You see the likes of RJ Sludge, Dame Givner there. That fits in with your group. You have multiple stars, and you guys are about winning. There's a WPL champion coming to the fold.
Being unselfish. We don't care on our team. We got to play defense. We coming full court. We pressing. We're manning up, and that's what I don't care who scored that bucket, but we're playing defense. They're gonna leave this program, leaving the summer league, knowing how to play good defense, sound defense. That's what we pound on. So
defense wins championships. EPT looking to go back-to-back here in the MVISBL as Brazil joins a very talented fold of Notorious Groom, Cam Epps, Drew Cook, and Austin Matthews. Isaiah Turner also coming back on that squad as well, along with Keela Milsom, Mike Wright Jr. That's a team that maybe lost the two best players in the league, but is returning a lot in the rest of the way. We'll turn things back over to round two with RTI when we come back. You're watching the MVISBL Boys Draft 2023 here on MVI Live, powered by Planet Roof. Planet Roof, Pittsburgh's top roofing company, goes above and beyond to give customers the best experience possible. At Planet Roof, we pay close attention to the quality of our work in your home. Our roofers are committed professionals with years of experience who will go above and beyond for all of our clients' needs. Because at Planet Roof, we love what we do. For more information, contact us today at 724-243-3297 or visit our website, planetroof.com. Back here from Cedarbrook Golf Course, Planet Roof draft here on MVI Live as we get set to start round number 2. RTI took Lamont Perkins Jr., either another Tiger for another year or going to be joining the talented fold out at Woodland Hills. We'll find that out by game number 1, which first game's Tuesday, June 20th, RTI Trailside. That will get us underway. EPT will be taking on State Farm. Rematch of the championship at 8 p.m. And then B Graphics and Union Cleaners will round out night number 1 of the MVISBL on Tuesday, June 20th. As Aiden Angadi, Ian March, Kadrian McLeod, Noah Prosser, Calvin Winfrey III, and Lamont Perkins Jr. all on the table, and all for Coach Dana Zychek coming into now this year. And, a team that had 1 win last year, I was looking, Jose, I felt like they were the closest to being able to make a huge turnaround just because of the pieces they have.
You look at two in particular that are leading the way with Calvin Winfrey and Noah Prosser. Noah Prosser made huge strides last year in being a full-time starter for Dom DeSico and the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars. Calvin Winfrey, of course, a part of that really, really talented Uniontown team. Kadrian McLeod, also a Uniontown guy as well. So, the cupboard's not bare there for RTI. And, Dana Zychek, he's won in the summer before, so he knows how to put together a winning team.
And there's still some talent, and a lot of talent on the board. And this is another team that doesn't lack size as RTI. So, kind of it's dealer's choice here for Coach Zychek when you have a number of guards. Now you have two decent bigs, a good hybrid in Lamont Perkins. So kind of the board's completely open here for Coach Zychek and RTI Insurance Services in round number 2 to get us underway with the second round.
Okay, thank you, guys. First pick in the second round, we're going to go with Josh Jakowski. I believe he's a junior at South Allegheny, correct?
Josh is indeed a junior, the elder Jakowski brother, and another big piece coming over to RTI. So, it's going to be a slugfest between, I think, RTI and Dax Thomas State Farm when it comes to crashing the boards. Those two teams have a ton of size now here coming into this season.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it so far in the first round and now first pick of the second round. Josh Jakowski, 6'3", junior from South Allegheny, definitely going to benefit from playing in the summer league, and that's a South Allegheny team that they always load up on talent. They're going to obviously have to replace their leading scorer in Bryce Epps during the high school season, but a couple SA kids on this list of newcomers that are joining the fold here in the Summer Basketball League. Group that already includes Mahalski with State Farm and Cam Epps in the fold here with EPT. So nice to see some more South Allegheny kids join the fold.
Yeah, and still a lot of talented players on the board, and I think you're seeing a run of the bigger kids go early. You see Perkins, O'Rourke, Deshaun Mosley, Tommy Davis, now Josh Jakowski. This is a slim pickings when it comes to forwards in the draft this year. A lot of young athletic talent, but when it comes to size, there was not a ton in this draft, and I think that's one of the reasons you see a lot of these kids go off the board early on. As with his third pick of the night, here's Coach Rashad Hatton of Trailside.
All right, with our second round pick, we'll take Kane Egerton, freshman from Thomas Jefferson.
And if that name sounds familiar to anybody looking or listening and watching on here on MVI Live, well, maybe the name Cam Egerton sounds familiar. Thomas Jefferson, this Kane, a rising freshman, and just an all-around talented athlete coming to Trailside.
Yeah, and we've seen Cam both on the basketball court and on the football field excel for Thomas Jefferson. I didn't get to see Kane, I don't think, at tryouts. I wasn't there first night. Was that when he was there, or was he there?
He was there last night.
Was he there last night, too?
Kane was there last night.
So, obviously, you got a kid who is a rising freshman, 6 foot, another kid who probably, is going to grow even more over the next 4 years. But, I know Dom DeSico, wants to get his TJ kids involved in during the summer and wants to see them improve throughout the summer months before the winter season. So a good opportunity here for Kane Egerton.
Wasting no time, right to Union Cleaner, second round pick here after taking Donshea Mosley from Woodland Hills in the first round.
Well, we took a big guy with the first pick. We're going to take a small guy with the second pick, and I played with his dad. That's not why I'm picking him. I'm picking him because he can shoot the lights out, and he knows how to play defense, even with a small size. We're going to go Tyler Basic, Elizabeth Ford, freshman.
And I think there's going to be a lot of groans about that one. Everybody was in awe about Tyler Basic shooting yesterday. He could shoot out of the gym, Jose, and he is an impressive young man. Got some handles, got some speed, and another good piece coming to Elizabeth Ford next year. They already had a very talented freshman shooter last year in Drew Cook, who got his start inside the MVISBL, and now another rising freshman that can shoot lights out, going to get his start in the MVISBL before taking his talents to EF.
Yeah, and I believe he's one of, 2 EF freshmen that are in this draft class. So, nice pick there for Union Cleaners, getting a nice guard who can be a ball handler and join up with a group that also includes Donshea Mosley, that first-round pick.
Bobby Zanoski going to take his first pick of the draft here. His first-round pick went, of course, to Zion Moore. A player I look at possibly off the board here is Anthony Price. I know that was someone a lot of people were excited about, but we'll see what Coach Zanoski tries to do with his first pick here in round number 2.
With my first pick of the draft, I'm going to select Donovan Gordon, point guard, Obama Academy.
And Bobby, he talked about wanting to basically run teams out of the gym, say go guard heavy, and another one there with Donovan Gordon coming off the board, another one of those talented young players we have entering the draft here. Is Gordon going to be the first pick of B Graphics here this evening? Again, Zion Moore, a rising junior, 1,000-point scorer as a sophomore, came over in the offseason.
Yeah, and I know that got to fill some roster spots, does B Graphics, but being able to trade for Zion Moore, one of the top players in this boys division. I know a lot of names on that key losses list for B Graphics, but when you got a guy like RJ Sledge coming back, Diabre Lightfoot, now Donovan Gordon joining the fold, B Graphics looks to get back to that trend of winning the back-to-back division titles to start their tenure here in the Mon Valley Independent Summer Basketball League.
They won the first two. Last year was not their year, and looking to get back to the thick of things this year. And of course, when it's the draft league and then you don't have kind of key players coming back, and this was a team that had Jaden Pratt. This was a team that had Quentin Martin, Rodney Gallagher. I mean,
they had Rodney Gallagher and Braden Reynolds.
What were the other guys doing, Jose?
I don't know. I was there, and I still don't understand how that happened. But those two were first overall and 7th overall, respectively. And yeah, I mean, it was just those 2 years. It was tough to beat a team like B Graphics, and they're kind of rebuilding here now with losing some guys. But when you have a guy like I said, when you have three. Returning guys like Zion Moore, RJ Sledge, and Lightfoot, that's a good place to start. Now you're just kind of building on it.
And I'll tell you, this one's taken a little longer. I think pick 2 was Tyler Basic for Dax Thomas State Farm. And I know that I talked to Naz earlier today, someone he was very excited about and hoping to get. But he went Tommy Davis round 1. A lot of people like Tommy Davis with, again, 6'4". You can't teach that. And not a lot of size in this draft. So, maybe some other pieces to look at as we go along here. Again, Tim Kershaw out of Monessen, we saw him do a lot for Coach Dan Bosnick and the Greyhounds last year. Anthony Price, again, he impressed a lot yesterday from Woodland Hills, going to be a freshman. And, of course, you have a number of talented players from the Clareton Bears. Troy Anderson, he played last year in a game or two, out of East Allegheny. So still a lot of talent up and down the board, and, as we come into this season, it's kind of, you got to be able to plug and play, find out who's going to fit, not just who's the best player, but who's going to fit what you're trying to do. Because, for a team like Dax Thomas State Farm, you need someone who's going to be able to handle the ball here and who's going to bring the ball up the court and control the offense. And we'll find out possibly here, a guy I would like, maybe Mike Ruffin here. He was able to help do that at the for the Clareton Bears this past season.
With the second pick, State Farm takes Tim Kershaw, Monessen.
Another young man that we saw last year in Tim Kershaw, part of that Monessen Greyhounds team, who just kind of hit a roadblock up at Carlington, home of 1,000-point scorer Dana Zychek, the head coach of RTI. Just see if I can get a reaction out of Dana over there.
He's focused in on that third-round draft pick, I think.
But Tim Kershaw, of course, he was at every game last year. I don't think he missed an MVISBL game last year, and now he'll be joining Dax Thomas State Farm. And I always like when you're only allowed to do 2 of these, but I think Tim and Lorenzo, that's another good chemistry mix, and I think that will be great for Coach Dan Bosnick come basketball season.
Yeah, those guys are familiar with one another. They know, how each other plays, and that's a great thing about it. And I like the limit on only having 2 players from one team, but because it is pretty cool to see players who are on the same high school team go up against each other during the summer too. But it's also nice to kind of share that same camaraderie that you have during the high school season.
And one thing this league does, it builds that outside chemistry and that outside relationship. I mean, look at the Epps and Mackay Valentine when they were in the same section, but they were on the same summer league team.
Right.
I mean, it just builds that camaraderie around the district, as well as EPT getting set to make their second pick of the night here to end round number 2.
Second pick in the second round for EPT. We're going to take Kyron Yates, rising junior from Monessen, 6'3", 185 pounds.
So Yates off the board, one of a couple Greyhounds we have here in this draft, and Yates is going to be a new member to the fold this season for the Monessen Greyhounds, as coming over to Monessen in his first year, Jose, and joining the MVISBL. And we'll get maybe a little bit acquired with a couple of his teammates, as, not on the same team, but we'll get to play against them here.
Yeah, and you mentioned the kind of the lack of size. The size of guys going early. Yates 6'3", a junior that's joining the fold here for Elite Physical Therapy. Another big guy that you can kind of add to the fold, especially when you got a guy like Austin Matthews who provides a lot of size for this EPT team too. Kyron Yates can kind of add to that as well.
And from my understanding, coming over from another Mon Valley school in the Yacht Cougars to join the fold at Monessen, will be a multi-sport athlete, as RTI will get us underway in round 3 with their third pick of the draft. Of course, RTI adding Lamont Perkins, adding Josh Jakowski, some size, and now maybe another guard to complement a Noah Prosser and a Calvin Winfrey III. Calvin and Notorious Grooms, absolutely breakout seasons for the Uniontown squad this year. And Uniontown, I think that was the feel-good story of the season in the WPIAL.
Yeah, I think, going into the year, everybody kind of, looked at Belle Vernon, looked at Laurel Highlands, and, I think we said it before the season started, like, don't forget about this Uniontown team. There's a ton of talent there. We knew that, Calvin, seeing guys that, came through the summer league like Notorious Grooms and Calvin Winfrey and Kadrian McLee and some of these other guys, we knew were going to be, and they lived up to that hype.
As Coach Dana Zychek getting ready to send us underway here in the third round of the MVISBL Boys Draft, powered by Planet Roof.
Okay, once again, guys, thank you. First pick of the third round, I'm going to go with Michael Ruffin, sophomore from Clairton.
As another Clairton Bear off the board in Mike Ruffin, and Jose, he was an impressive piece for the Bears this past season. A big reason Clairton was able to help turn it around and make the state dance.
Yeah, a ton of playing time for the Bears, a 5'7" sophomore. Definitely, got that experience that you need to be a big piece, and one of a number of Clairton kids that are eligible in this draft.
Down to 5 left.
Yeah, and a kid who I think is going to make a really big impact for RTI. Joins Josh Jakowski and Lamont Perkins, the first 2-round picks. 3 nice picks there for Dana Zychek and RTI Insurance.
And Jose, let me ask you this. So last year, just 1 win. You lose Ben Mayhew. That's the big one. But what if I told you now you have on a team Kadrian McLee, Noah Prosser, Calvin Winfrey III, Lamont Perkins, and Mike Ruffin? That sounds like a team that can compete.
That's a good mix.
That's a pretty good team right there now.
Absolutely.
For Coach Dana Zychek. He's cooking something here tonight, is now Coach Rashad Hatton with his first pick of the third round.
All right, to continue in the third round, we'll continue with Clairton guys. I'll be taking Teak Wooding, a sophomore guard from Clairton.
Another one of those talented youngsters for the Clairton Bears. Ruffin and Wooding, the 2 freshman dynamic players that saw a ton of playing time last year for Coach Hatton. So he reaches his Clairton limit, which was as to be expected here in this one. I think everyone's going to be on their Clairton limit with 7 guys in the draft.
I think
and already
so,
a couple already in the league.
Yeah, I think all these kids are going to make impacts for their specific teams, and obviously, as a coach, you like being able to coach your own guys during the summer, and even coach against them, and that's the thing about this league too is even if you're not coaching specific players, all these coaches care about these kids improving and getting better. So I'm sure that they'll be helping kind of guide kids that are on different teams as well, just helping them improve as the summer goes on.
As up next, going to be Union Cleaners and Coach Kevin Kovac. Union Cleaners already taken Dache Mosley and Tyler Basic. Some size, some skill, and now the floor wide open for Coach Kovac here in the third round.
We're going to stay at Elizabeth Forward and select another freshman, another big inside for us, James Guile.
So James Guile, another one of those things you can't teach size, Jose. 6'4", a rising freshman, becoming the second Warrior to join the Union Cleaner squad in this draft is James Guile. And I like that. 2 guys that have some chemistry together, and now they get to play in summer together.
Yeah, and you look at it, 2 reasons why he's valuable. 1, 6'4", and also you're a freshman. 4 years of eligibility here in the Summer Basketball League. That's definitely something that provides value to these kids.
Wasting no time, Bobby Zanoski already at the podium ready for his third-round selection.
With our third-round pick, we select Anthony Price from Woodland Hills.
Anthony Price, I know someone Coach Bobby Zanoski was very high on yesterday, and he's going to get him here in round number 3 as there goes the microphone at the podium. But Anthony Price, another talented freshman out of Woodland Hills, and I think that's a steal of a pick here in the third round.
Yeah, I mean, you got back-to-back freshmen who, are 6'2" or taller. That's huge for these two teams to get in the third round. B Graphics, they're making some good picks here through the only 2 picks without with trading that first round draft pick, but with getting Donovan Gordon from Obama in the second round and now Anthony Price here in the third round, pretty good value in those rounds.
And I would say this way, and this might ruffle some feathers. I think B Graphics probably has the most talented 1-2 punch in the league with RJ, and I know I'm going to get some groans in Zion. I think if you're going to talk about, it was Makai and Bryce without question last year. I think it's Zion and RJ this year. RJ had 3 4-point plays last year. Can handle the ball. Zion, we know what he can do. And I think that would be great to let Zion play as a 2-guard. And I don't get me wrong, I think Isaiah Petty and Dame Givner, great dynamic shooting duo. Isaiah was incredible, stealing, scoring. He did it all for the Sarah Catholic Eagles. Of course, you have Notorious Grooms, Mike Wright Jr., Cam Epps, all of them, but it's not that same dynamic punch. And I think Dax Thomas State Farm, when you look at a team like that, they're going to be more of a spread-out scoring when you have Berger, who we know he can go for 40 a night. Mm-hmm. We know he's capable of averaging 40 a game. But then you have the ability to have a guy like Lorenzo 10 points a game, Michael Mahalski 10, 13 points a game, Curdy Wade probably, look at this summer, maybe in double digits per game. That's a more prone spread-out scoring offense. But when it comes to a true 1-2 offensive punch, I don't think you're going to get it better than Zion and RJ. And then they have a lockdown defender in Diabre Lightfoot as well.
I was just about to say, Diabre is one of the best defenders that we got to see all season long, and he didn't even start for Bell Vernon. Really good off the bench, and definitely benefited from getting a ton of playing time for Coach Salvino and Bell Vernon in his freshman campaign.
Another one of those guys. It was a costly foul out against the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. That's probably going to be said a lot and has been said a lot, but Naz Victoria ready for his third-round selection for Dax Thomas State Farm.
With the third-round selection for State Farm, we select Noah Kaiser from Thomas Jefferson.
So another Jaguar off the board, another Mon Valley player entering the MVISBL in Noah Kaiser, the junior from TJ.
Yeah, and I believe that's Naz's TJ limit with also having Evan Berger on his roster. So
we didn't see Noah, so I wonder, was there some communication with the TJ star?
Naz has his ways of scouting, and obviously, he comes to so many games during the season. He's on our streams. He does a lot of scouting, I believe, during those experiences. So, he may know some things that maybe we don't or nobody else does. So,
Jose, got a shout out though. Watching again like always. One of our
biggest fan.
Got to be our biggest fan out there. Appreciate her tuning in. Always backing us on the Valley Sports Guys award-winning Valley Sports Guys podcast.
Yes, we will be back here shortly. Very excited about that. It was a long spring without the podcast, but excited to get back into it here.
4 o'clock games don't make that easy.
No, they do not. Baseball and softball definitely made it a difficult task, but we will be back at His Place Coffee Community and more soon, and we will be back with our nonsense.
As Veda Epps will be taking his final pick of the evening here in round number 3 to round out what will possibly be a back-to-back championship roster. At least that's what he's hoping with his final selection.
Third pick. In the third round, EPT, we select Troy Anderson, rising senior from East Allegheny, 5'11" guard, 170.
Troy Anderson, you saw some action last year in the MVISBL, and a hard-working, gritty player out of East Allegheny, and he is now joining the fold to round out the lineup for the elite physical therapy squad that went undefeated last season, and of course has a number of players, key players to replace, but now you're adding in 3 talented guys in the forms of Kyron Yates, some size, Troy Anderson at 5'11", and, of course, Brazil from Amani Christian, and then, of course, the talented returning group. Just kind of hoping to push the right buttons as Coach Vadap's with those 3 picks.
Yeah, and with elite physical therapy, I mean, you're looking for a second straight title. They're looking to, in 4 years, maybe we'll have back-to-back champions in all 4 years, but they can really afford to go after those upperclassmen. You know, they're looking to win right now. They're not looking really to the future. I mean, 2 seniors here picked with Troy Anderson and Nathan Brazil, and then you got Kyron Yates, a junior. So, you know, EPT is all in it to win it once again. You know, we've mentioned it, you know, time and time again with the guys they have coming back with Notorious Grooms, Cam Epps, Drew Cook, Isaiah Turner, Austin Matthews, and then the 3 guys that they have now on board. Veteran presences that will be in that lineup. You know, nice 3 rounds here for elite physical therapy.
As Dana Zychek ready to send us away here in round number 4. Already Lamont Perkins, Josh Jakowski, Mike Ruffin, and now the newest member of RTI Insurance Services.
Okay, the newest member of RTI Insurance Services is Brady Walsh, Jr. from Seton LaSalle.
Brady Walsh off the board, one of 2 Seton LaSalle players we have here in the draft. The other one is Patrick Weldon. So Walsh off the board here, the 5'11 junior. Walsh, of course, the son of the head coach of the Seton LaSalle Rebels, and he can shoot lights out as well. I wasn't looking forward to that, Jose.
Yeah,
I could hear it slide.
I heard it, and it hurt a little bit, but But yeah, a nice pick there, getting Brady Walsh. You know, I don't think we've really seen a ton of representation from Seton LaSalle on the boys' side the last couple. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've seen that
we
much.
We had Ian March.
Okay, because I know we have Mallory Daly on the girls' side, but
possible Player of the Year on the girls' side.
Right.
Just for all those out there, girls draft tomorrow, same place, same time. So make sure you tune in for that one. As Coach Rashad Hatton looking to continue on here in round number 4 for Trailside.
All right, with our 4th round pick, we'll take Shane Rudberg, a senior at South Allegheny.
Shane Rudberg, talk about grit and determination. As Shane Rudberg going here in the 4th round, and he's tried out every single year.
And I think that there were multiple teams that showed interest in Shane Rudberg. I mean, we saw him get a decent amount of playing time at South Allegheny. I think he was probably one of the first guys off the bench at times for Coach Tony DeCenzo.
Depended on the night, it was either Jakowski, Camden Lewis, or Shane Rudberg.
Right. But, you know, he hit some big shots for them as well. So, you know, nice to see him, you know, continue, like you said, continuously tried out and you know, getting his opportunity as he gets picked here in the 4th round. And like I said, there were multiple teams that came in here saying, hey, Shane Rudberg might be one of our picks. I mean, the work he's put in has been pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was talking to Bobby Zanoski. I said, you know, that could be your Chris Barish style player.
Yeah.
Just put him in the corner and let him shoot away, but doesn't get that opportunity as Trailside takes him here in round number 4 as Union Cleaners with their next selection.
Yes, with our next pick for Union Cleaners, we would select Patrick Weldon from Seton LaSalle.
A run of Seton LaSalle Rebels off the board here. Patrick Weldon, inside-out hybrid, can get outside, shoot, rough up inside. Kind of very similar style guy to a Kane Egerton who was taken earlier in the draft.
Yeah, Weldon, a 6'1 junior, rising junior from Seton LaSalle. So now 2 Seton LaSalle juniors taken here in the 4th round with Brady Walsh and Patrick Weldon. And Bobby Zanowski's not wasting any time. He is fully ready.
That's what I like to hear. I got a playoff hockey game tonight, Bobby. So
Wrestling's coming on at 8 o'clock. With my next pick, I select Rodney Johnson Davis from Monessen.
No surprise, it was only a matter of time. I know Bobby was very high on getting Rodney Johnson in this draft, and he will do just that here in the 4th round, and that adds some size to this B graphic squad.
Yeah, and I think Bobby has kind of gotten the guys that he's wanted. You know, he raced up to the podium for Anthony Price. He knew he wanted him, and now gets Rodney Johnson. So no first-round pick, no problem here for B graphics.
And again, probably had the best first-round pick anyone could ask for.
I'd say so.
Rising junior Zion Moore, 1,000-point score as a sophomore.
Yeah, I think Zion, if he were in this draft, he would be the undisputed #1 pick.
As Dax Thomas, State Farm will have the final pick in the 4th round. Then we'll take a quick break and come back and get you ready to send you the rest of the way through some players to look at.
We'll have 2 more picks.
No, EPT's done.
EPT is done.
They filled out. Yep. When I was
I was just looking at my sheet.
Yeah, when I did that, I didn't have that was the one thing I didn't do, Jose, is
Okay.
cross out when people were going. But some guys to look at, still on
If
the
anyone
board.
sees me looking down on the stream, it's because I'm writing on my sheet when everybody gets picked.
Yeah, some guys, obviously, to look at the rest of the way. You still have Cameron Rice. He's a rising freshman at Woodland Hills, of course. The likes of, you got the other Wright and Dante Wright still on the board.
Yeah, couple
Jawan
Clareton kids still left.
Jawan Bailey Jr., another one.
You look at size. Braden Tadaro from Charleroi, 6'2" freshman. That definitely stands out.
And I think one of those things, we didn't see him. So is that part of the reason? But, we had a rising freshman last year from the Charleroi Cougars and Jackson Karanko be part of the MVISBL. And, Rutledge from East Allegheny, another one of those East A kids still on the board. Mason Mead Smith, Whittier Felder.
Couple Woodland Hills kids
Ross
still
King.
there. Yep. Ross King, a 5'8" freshman from Woody High. Cameron Rice, another freshman from Woody High. So a couple guys there, and Naz Victoria looks like he's ready for that final pick of the 4th round.
Is it the final pick?
Yep. EPT's filled up.
With the final pick in the 4th round, State Farm selects David Wyszynski, Greensburg Central Catholic.
That's another small shooter. We had a lot of minute guys that could hit from outside, and David Wyszynski is the newest member of Dax Thomas State Farm, as similar as you can get to Tyler Basic without being Tyler Basic in this draft out of the players left. And I know, again, how much he liked Tyler Basic's speed, skill, just a little shorter, but still has a quick release and a pretty good shot for David Wyszynski. And, him and Naz already saw eye to eye. Naz yelling at him for not covering a man during tryouts, so we'll see how that player-coach relationship goes.
Yeah, it should be interesting. But, yeah, I mean, Naz wasn't able to get Basic there in the 2nd round, but I think, like you said, Wyszynski kind of fits that same mold of what maybe, Naz Victoria wants from him. But good 4th round of picks there. We get 2 Seton LaSalle kids. We get Shane Rudberg from South Allegheny, Rodney Johnson from Manessa, and now Wyszynski from GCC.
As we'll take a quick break. You're watching the MVISBL Boys Draft 2023 here on MVI Live, powered by Planet Roof. Now we're going to hear a word from our newest sponsor here on MVI Live. That's E-Paint. So when we come back, we'll have round number 5 for you right here on MVI Live. E-Paint's proudly serving the community since 2021, offering home service for both residential and commercial properties. At E-Paint's, we will work with you to plan every step of the process and ensure that your satisfaction is met. With a team of experts and a variety of professional services available, you can be sure that your house will be taken care of. From the smallest to largest task, E-Paints believes your home deserves top priority service. For more information, visit epaintsandEpoxy.com or call 412-559-8515. E-Paints, quality professional services that you can trust. For all your painting epoxy needs, call our former Mon Valley athlete, Ethan Weiser.
Oh, there you go.
Former football player at my alma mater, Jeremy's alma mater.
Go
He's a
Doors.
Fraser Commodore.
Go Doors.
Fellow 2015 grad, but big shout out to Ethan Weiser for joining the MVI Live family, and our newest sponsor going along. Of course, always a big thank you to Travis and Planet Roof, great supporter of Mon Valley Athletics. You can look forward to not just him sponsoring the draft, but of course our Planet Roof player of the game throughout the course of the season. Of course, our friends at Highway Appliance Furniture Mattress back, and we're working on something new. May not have Howard Hanna Wilson Baum in the league anymore, but we may have Howard Hanna Slagus as a MVI Live sponsor. Of course, Coach Caitlin Slagus' mom, in conversations with her. So Jose, and any of our friends out there, if you want to advertise and join the MVI Live family, you can contact me, lions@yourmvi.com, and we'll see what we can do for you.
Yeah, we appreciate all the support from all of our sponsors, and we appreciate everybody who's tuning in right now, too. We got 33, looks like, watching. Maybe a little less than that, because I do have the stream up on my computer. So I'm one of those 33. But
Jose's views matter.
Yeah, my view does count. So thank you to me for watching, and thank you to all you for tuning in. We appreciate the support, as always.
All right, Coach Dana Zychek ready to send us underway here in what is scheduled to be the penultimate round of picks here in this draft.
Okay, thank you, man. With the first pick in the 5th round, we'll select a sophomore from Clareton, Dante Wright.
So Dante right now will join the league. Another Clareton Bear off the board again. Most kids from any school trying out is from the Clareton Bears, and it talks about, their commitment to wanting to get better. They already saw a huge turnaround last season, and now Dante Wright joining the league. Of course, we still have Jawan Bailey Jr. from Clareton. You have Brandon Blackwell from Clareton still available, and I believe I'm missing one more, and Jeff Thompson is the other, as Coach Kevin Kovac has made his way to the podium for his 5th-round selection.
Be one less from Clareton, Alex. Union Cleaners is going to select Jawan Bailey Jr., Clareton.
I think that is a fantastic pick here in round number 5. That's a high-value pick in Jawan Bailey Jr. And bonus points for Jawan wearing the MVI Shootout Classic T-shirt to tryouts last night.
We did see that. We're happy to see it repped out.
The best part was Naz brought them all together at the end of the night, and he's like, "You want to watch the draft? Go right there." I'm pointing at his shirt. He's wearing the MVI shirt. So Jawan Bailey Jr. already was ready to support the MVI with that Shootout Classic shirt last night. Brownie points for that one.
Oh, yeah.
As back-to-back Clareton Bears off the board, Bobby Zanoski says, let's get going.
Bobby's time from the table to the podium has definitely been the best tonight. Yeah.
Can we get a stopwatch on that?
I don't have an assistant here, but my assistant texted in a pick. Braden Tedora, freshman.
Jose, you were talking about him.
Yeah, we were just saying. I mean, you look at he wasn't at tryouts, but you look at that sheet, a 6'2" freshman from Charleroi. I mean, you can't teach 6'2". You can't teach 6'2". So, good pick there for B Graphics.
As Tedora off the board here in round number 5, and now
got Dax Thomas, State Farm.
I forgot to cross out my trail side pick, so when I wrote it down,
Yes.
it was not right.
State Farm is on the clock with their final pick of the 5th round. The 6th round will consist of only 3 picks. Union Cleaners will have the first one, so RTI and Trailside are both done for the night. They've filled their rosters, but Union Cleaners, B Graphics, and State Farm will have draft picks in the 6th round as we await Naz Victoria's arrival here to the podium for that final pick of the 5th round. He's coming.
He doesn't have the Zanoski 40 time.
He does not, no.
All right. What round is this? 5th?
This is
Round
the 5th
5.
round. Naz.
Okay. With the 5th round pick, State Farm selects Noah Sears, Seton LaSalle.
So Noah Sears off the board. We weren't originally sure where Sears was.
I don't think we still are. I think we were just kind of.
Naz said Seton, so we're going with Seton.
I think that was a potential landing spot for him. So Noah Sear, a incoming freshman, 5'11", taken as the final pick here in the 5th round. Like I said, we'll have 3 picks in the 6th, with Union Cleaners now being on the clock to open that round, and then we'll finish things out with B Graphics and State Farm once again.
As again, games start. That comes Tuesday. RTI, Trailside, Elite Physical Therapy, State Farm, B Graphics, Union Cleaners. As we should have a great opening night of matchups here on the MVI SBL. And if you're watching the games here on YouTube, they won't be on YouTube. If you watched any of our broadcasts during the regular season for basketball, all of baseball, softball season, they'll be on that news site. And if you want to know how to get there, look in the description of this video. Down, somewhere along this area, there'll be a link which will take you to our site for all of our streaming for the MVI SBL games. So if you're looking for those games, that's where they will be.
Yeah, this is a YouTube exclusive over the next couple of days. But we will be back here on YouTube tomorrow for the girls' draft. Again, same time, 7 o'clock start time, same place here at Cedarbrook Golf Course. Got to get a shout out to Cedarbrook. Great hosts, as always, here for our annual drafts as well.
One of our teams as well on the girls' side, as we'll start the final round with Union Cleaners and Coach Kevin Kovac.
Yeah, with Union Cleaners' final pick, we're going to go with a little bit of leadership and seniorship, as they say. We're going to go Brennan Rutledge from East Allegheny High School.
So Rutledge off the board here, another one of the East Allegheny Wildcats in this draft, as he'll start off the final round heading to Union Cleaners. And Union Cleaners last year, they've got a lot of success taking a talented senior later on in the draft. Of course, that was Chaz Cobbs Jr., who was an absolute stud for them a season ago. As Bobby says, let's go.
If you didn't think that he was already at the podium.
He was there before Kevin made it to his seat.
With my next pick, I select Jeff Thompson, Clareton.
As another Bear off the board, and Jeff Thompson here in round number 6, the rising sophomore at Clareton. And one more pick left that belongs to Naz Victoria here in this one.
I believe is that all? Well, maybe one more Clareton kid left on the board.
Blackwell, then you have Solo Bugs from East A, Corbett, Isaac Ellsworth, we didn't see him, Whittier Felder, Heps, Ross King, and Mason Mead Smith. I don't think I said Cameron Rice.
No, Cameron Rice and Welta Praney from Ringgold as well. So got some really good players there still on the board that, Naz Victoria is still over there talking things over with his coaching staff. So
we
definitely a tough decision to make here.
We should throw it out there if you don't get drafted.
There is a supplemental draft.
There is the supplemental draft. Jeremy's phoning something in here, so.
Yep. I'll go get the information. You stay here. Oh, we're hearing word about a free agent pool.
So instead of the supplemental draft, free agent pool, but Naz will explain that supposedly. But again, no matter what, look at a guy last year. He's not in the league this year, but Brandon Battles. He didn't get drafted.
He made a huge impact by the end of the season.
If it wasn't for a mid-season 5 seconds before a game trade,
which we have never seen before in the history of the MVISBL.
Of Naz Victoria getting Brandon Battles, who was his most consistent showing up player last year. Evan Berger was probably as well, but he got injured, and he was still at almost every game. But Brandon Battles came in, he played hard. He was a great pre-game acquisition that went on to be crucial in that championship game appearance for Dax Thomas State Farm. But, again, we'll hear what that's kind of looking like with the free agent pool, with the supplemental draft, whatever it may look like here this season.
It's a good example of, don't think that the 6th round does not matter. All these picks matter. I mean, it's – whether you're picked in the 1st round or the 6th round, I mean, it means something. And even, if you aren't picked, you still could have an impact in this league, So there's so much talent, every year in both divisions that, it makes it hard for these coaches to make these picks. I mean, again, Naz is just now making his way up to the podium. Making his way up to the podium.
Noah Prosser was a really late pick last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I was looking over that, and, I mean, Noah, he can knock down triples with the best of them. I mean,
we saw it even in particular this past year. I mean, he made just such huge strides to be, there were times where, Evan was injured for a few games this year, and Noah took on that role as being the leading scorer. So all these picks matter.
And here's the final pick with Naz Victoria and Dax Thomas State Farm, rounding out this roster that now has Tommy Davis, Tim Kershaw, Noah Kazir, along with David Wachinski and Noah Sears. Now in the fold, joining Wade, Berger, Gardner, and Michael Mahalski.
With State Farm's final pick, we take Cameron Rice, freshman, Woodland Hills.
So Cam Rice goes off the board with the final pick here in the draft, and Dax Thomas State Farm rounds out their roster with Cameron Rice of Woody Hills being the final pick here in round number 6, going to Dax Thomas State Farm. Again, B Graphics, they won the first 2, lost last year. EPT, the defending champs, at 12-0, but anybody's year, and everyone makes their run. And again, worst to first, not out of the realm of possibility this year either for RTI Insurance Services with the draft they've had, with the returners they have. Union Cleaners adding to their talented group. B Graphics, a retooling on a big loss, and Dax Thomas State Farm adding to a group of talented forwards and hybrids with some size and some athleticism as well.
We were just told B Graphics actually has one more pick.
Well, B Graphics does have apparently one more into the
Bobby's
7th
back.
round.
Sorry, I was late.
We didn't know you had it either, Bobby. It's not on the list.
With my last pick, I select Jerome Corbett, guard, West Mifflin.
Corbett off the board.
Wrestling time.
Bobby didn't drop the mic, and he's ready for wrestling.
There you
He's
go.
ready for Jerome Corbett, the junior from West Mifflin, joining his squad here in round 7. As it's Jerome Corbett, actually the final pick of the evening here in the MVISBL Boys Draft, brought to you by Planet Roof. And we've had a whole host of characters. Now we get Ike in here, Jose. Everybody's joining the party as Naz going to come up and have some explanation of what this means next now that the draft is over, with B Graphics taking the final selection here this evening as Naz Victoria back at the podium.
Okay, gentlemen, that's the end of our draft here. We have quite a few players that didn't get picked tonight. All of those players are going to become free agents this season. We're going to try something a little bit new this year because we have a problem with some guys not showing up. We had some forfeitures last year. We are going to have all of those guys come as free agents, and if you have a guy that's not showing up, you're going to be able to pick up guys as the season goes on. So that'll be through the 4th game. By the end of the 4th game, we should have all of these guys picked up, even if they're extras on our team. Okay? So you should have your list. You know who's still available as free agents. If you want to pick them up before your first game, you're more than welcome to pick somebody up off the list before your first game and carry more than 10 players.
But Naz, again, just a clarification for everyone out there, the school rule still applies. Cannot pick up a third from your school.
The school rule still applies. You can only have 2 players from any one high school, but you can pick up free agents up to, I think what we have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I have 8 on my list.
8. So we have 8. So you could pick 2 if you want. You can pick 1. If you want to pick somebody right now, you can come pick them up. Go ahead.
Bobby says he's making a free agent pick as the announcement. I like it. Bobby Zanoski wasted no time, as he's done all night. It's not wrestling time yet. It's free agent time for B Graphics. It's almost wrestling time.
Wrestling started, but I will select Kadar Felder, Jr., West Mifflin.
So out of free agency, Iton will go to B Graphics. And listen, there's vacation. There's all sorts of reasons.
Yeah.
There's AAU. I mean, let's be honest, having extra players is never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing, and I think this is great for the league, for the boys division. So many things come into play here in the summer that, take kids away from, playing on teams, for a certain period of time. So it's nice to be able to see, even more kids become involved in this league as Kevin Kovac will make a pick here for Union Cleaners.
Yeah,
We're going for free agency.
Union Cleaners would like to pick up one of our free agents right now. We're going to go with Solo Bugs from West Mifflin. East Allegheny, apologize. Solo Bugs, East Allegheny.
So another one off the board here in the free agency period. And this can go up till the 4th game. So 2 guys have now went, one from West Mifflin, one from East Allegheny. Lamont Perkins went pick number 1 out of McKeesport. Then Brady O'Rourke 2 to Trailside. Donche Mosley was number 3 overall from Woodland Hills. Sir Anthony Blair in the 4 spot to Trailside. Tommy Davis in the 5 spot to Dax Thomas State Farm out of Bella Vernon. Then Nathan Brazil out of Amani Christian goes in the final spot of the 1st round. Josh Jakowski of South Allegheny to RTI in round 2. Kane Egerton for Trailside from EF, from TJ, Tyler Basic from EF, Donovan Gordon out of Obama to B Graphics, Dax Thomas took Tim Kershaw, and Monessen took Kyron Yates, both from Monessen. Then it was Ruffin, Wooding, Guile, Price, Kaiser Anderson, Walsh, Rudberg, Weldon, Rodney Johnson Davis, Wachinski, Wright, Tadero, Sears, Rutledge, Thompson, Rice, and Corbett, and 2 free agents in Felder and Bugs thus far.
Gentlemen, anyone else taking a free agent at this time? Rashad? Any free agents? All right, that brings us to a conclusion of the 2023 MVI SBL draft. Thank you guys for showing up. See you on Tuesday. Good luck to everyone.
Game 1 Tuesday, RTI Trailside, 7 p.m. We'll have that for you here on the network, Jose. New crop of talent into the league. We'll see who claims the crown this year. But until tomorrow, when we have coverage of the MVI Girls Division Draft here on MVI Live, on behalf of Jose Negron, I'm Alex Lyon saying thanks for tuning in this season and in this evening. And good luck to everybody this year, all the new players, all the teams. Can't wait for another exciting season of Summer League basketball here on MVI Live.
Yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you this year.
Have a great evening, everybody. You've been watching exclusive coverage of the 2023 MVI SBL Draft right here on your home for Mon Valley Athletics, MVI Live. Have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.